There's a light that countless souls have described at the edge of death. Not the harsh glare of hospital fluorescence or the fading twilight of consciousness, but something altogether different, something that defies our earthly understanding of illumination. When people return from the threshold between worlds, they speak of this light with a reverence that transcends religious boundaries, cultural conditioning, or personal beliefs. They describe it as alive, conscious, loving beyond measure. And, perhaps most mysteriously, they insist this light knew them more intimately than they knew themselves. What is this light that appears at the frontier of human experience? Why does it manifest consistently across cultures, faiths, and personal histories? Is it merely a neurological phenomenon, the brain's final fireworks as oxygen depletes? Or does it represent something far more profound, a glimpse into the fundamental nature of consciousness itself? Scientists offer explanations rooted in biology, dying brain cells creating hallucinations, the pineal gland releasing dimethyltryptamine, oxygen deprivation triggering euphoric states. Yet these mechanical explanations feel hollow when confronted with the transformative power these experiences hold over those who return. People don't simply see a light. They encounter a presence that fundamentally alters their understanding of existence. The accounts are remarkably consistent. A brilliant illumination that doesn't hurt the eyes, a radiance that seems to emanate pure love and acceptance. Many describe feeling drawn toward it, not by force, but by an irresistible sense of coming home. Within this light, time loses meaning. Past, present, and future collapse into an eternal now. Fear dissolves. The boundaries of self expand until the experiencer feels both infinitely small and boundlessly vast. Ancient traditions speak of divine light in similar terms. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes the clear light of reality that appears at the moment of death. Christian mystics write of the uncreated light of God. Sufi poets sing of the light upon light that illuminates all existence. Hindu scriptures describe Brahman as self-luminous consciousness. Could it be that mystics throughout history have been attempting to describe the same phenomenon that near-death experiencers encounter? This light defies the physics we know. It casts no shadows. It penetrates without burning. It reveals without exposing. Those who encounter it often say it's simultaneously brighter than anything imaginable, and yet gentle enough to gaze upon directly. It seems to possess qualities that transcend our understanding of electromagnetic radiation. It's as if this light operates by different laws altogether, the laws of consciousness rather than matter. Some describe moving through a tunnel toward this light, others find themselves suddenly immersed in it. But regardless of how they arrive, the experience shares common elements, an overwhelming sense of unconditional love, a feeling of absolute safety, a knowing that transcends intellectual understanding. Many report that within this light they access knowledge about their lives, their purpose, their connections to others that was previously hidden from them. Is this light external to us, or does it emerge from within? The boundaries blur in these experiences. Some experiencers describe recognizing the light as something they've always known but forgotten. Like a childhood memory suddenly restored, they speak of remembering their true nature, their original home. This suggests the light might not be separate from consciousness itself, but rather consciousness recognizing its own essence. The light seems to know each soul personally. It reflects back our deepest truths without judgment. In its presence, many describe experiencing a life review, not as punishment or critique, but as illumination. Every action, every choice, every moment of their lives becomes clear in its true significance. The light doesn't condemn, it simply reveals. And in that revelation, understanding dawns. Children who've had near-death experiences often describe the light differently than adults. They speak more matter-of-factly about going home or visiting where we come from. Their accounts lack the theological or philosophical overlays that adults might bring. They simply experience without the filters of religious or cultural conditioning. Perhaps children, closer to their origin, recognize this light more readily as their true home. Some researchers suggest the light represents the border between individual and universal consciousness. Like a drop of water recognizing the ocean, the individual soul glimpses its connection to the infinite. This might explain why experiencers often return with a transformed understanding of death, not as ending, but as expansion, not as loss, but as reunion. The light often communicates without words. Experiencers describe receiving vast amounts of information instantaneously. Complex spiritual truths become simple. Paradoxes resolve. The deepest questions about existence find wordless answers. It's as if the light speaks in the language of direct knowing, bypassing the limitations of human speech and thought. Many who return from these experiences struggle to describe what they've witnessed. Human language, designed for material reality, proves inadequate for spiritual truth. They resort to metaphor, poetry, saying things like, "It was like coming home," or "It was more real than real," or "I was everywhere and nowhere." These paradoxical statements hint at experiences that transcend our ordinary categories of understanding. Why do some people see deceased loved ones within this light, while others encounter spiritual beings or religious figures? Perhaps the light adapts its appearance to what each soul can comprehend. Like water taking the shape of its container, infinite consciousness might present itself in forms we can recognize and accept. The Christian might see Christ, the Buddhist might encounter Buddha, the child might see a beloved grandparent. The light meets us where we are. Scientists have attempted to replicate aspects of this light experience in laboratory settings. Through meditation, sensory deprivation, or certain psychoactive substances, some subjects report encountering luminous phenomena that share qualities with near-death experiences. Yet even these controlled glimpses seem pale compared to the spontaneous encounters reported by those who've actually crossed the threshold. Perhaps this light cannot be summoned at will, but only revealed when we truly let go. The transformative power of this light encounter cannot be overstated. People return fundamentally changed. Materialistic individuals become spiritual seekers. Atheists discover faith not in dogma, but in the reality of consciousness beyond the physical. Those who fear death often lose that fear entirely. They speak not of believing in an afterlife, but of knowing a deeper truth about existence itself. Interestingly, the light doesn't always appear immediately. Some experiencers describe initial darkness or confusion before the light emerges. Others must pass through challenging experiences, confronting fears or unresolved issues before the light appears. It's as if certain barriers within consciousness must dissolve before this fundamental light can be perceived. Perhaps we all carry this light within us, obscured by layers of fear, attachment, and misunderstanding. Religious traditions often speak of spiritual purification as necessary to perceive divine light. Medieval mystics practiced asceticism to cleanse the mirror of the soul. Eastern traditions emphasize meditation to remove the veils of illusion. Could it be that the near-death experience temporarily strips away these veils, allowing direct perception of what mystics spend lifetimes trying to glimpse? The light is consistently described as intelligent, even omniscient. It knows not just our actions but our intentions, not just our thoughts but our deepest motivations. In its presence, many report, nothing can be hidden. Yet this total exposure brings not shame but liberation. The light sees all and loves all. This unconditional acceptance often proves more transformative than any judgment could be. Some experiencers describe the light as having a kind of personality, though not in the human sense. It's described as infinitely patient, completely understanding, absolutely compassionate. It seems to embody qualities that human relationships aspire to, but rarely achieve. In its presence, many feel truly seen and accepted for the first time in their existence. Physical scientists studying biophotons have discovered that living cells emit faint light, too weak for our eyes to detect normally. Some researchers speculate whether this cellular light might intensify during death, creating the luminous experiences reported in near-death encounters. Could our bodies literally shine brighter as they prepare to release consciousness? The intersection of physics and metaphysics grows increasingly intriguing. The light often presents a choice to those who encounter it. Many describe reaching a point where they must decide whether to continue into the light or return to earthly life. This choice is never forced. The light respects free will Absolutely. Some choose to return for loved ones, unfinished purposes, or simply because they sense it's not yet their time. The light accepts all choices with equal love. Children who've encountered this light often display remarkable wisdom upon return. They speak of life purposes, soul contracts, and spiritual realities with a maturity beyond their years. Many parents report their children seem to remember things about existence that most adults have forgotten. Perhaps the light awakens dormant, knowledge within us, memories of our true nature that earthly life obscures. The question arises, why do some people have these experiences while others don't? Not everyone who approaches death encounters this light. Some researchers suggest it may relate to readiness, spiritual development, or simply the circumstances of dying. Others propose that perhaps everyone encounters this light at death, but not all remember it upon resuscitation. The mystery deepens rather than resolves with investigation. Cultural anthropologists note that while the light experience appears universal, its interpretation varies. A Buddhist might describe it as the clear light of the void, while a Christian sees the light of Christ. An atheist might interpret it as pure consciousness without religious overtones. The light itself seems beyond dogma, allowing each soul to understand it through their own framework while transcending all frameworks. What becomes clear from countless accounts is that this light represents something fundamental about consciousness itself. It challenges materialist assumptions that awareness arises merely from neural activity. The light suggests consciousness might be primary, not secondary to physical processes. Perhaps our brains don't generate consciousness, but rather filter or focus a universal awareness that the light reveals in its unfiltered form. Those who work with the dying often report subtle luminous phenomena around those approaching death. Nurses describe a certain radiance that seems to emanate from some patients in their final hours. Family members speak of loved ones appearing to glow or becoming translucent. While these observations are anecdotal, their consistency across cultures and contexts suggests something profound occurs at the boundary between life and death. The implications of these light experiences challenge our fundamental assumptions about reality. If consciousness can exist in a realm of pure light, independent of the brain, what does this suggest about the nature of existence? Are we primarily spiritual beings having a temporary physical experience? The light encounters suggest our essential nature might be far more vast and luminous than our earthly identity assumes. Some experiencers describe the light as containing all colors simultaneously while transcending color altogether. Others speak of it as pure white radiance that somehow contains infinite depth and dimension. Modern physics speaks of light as both particle and wave. Perhaps this mysterious light represents a state of consciousness that is simultaneously individual and universal, finite and infinite. The relationship between this light and human consciousness appears to be intimate and essential. Many who return from near-death experiences describe recognizing the light as their true self, their original nature before taking physical form. This recognition often comes as a shock of remembrance rather than new discovery. They speak of remembering who they really are, as if earthly life had induced a kind of spiritual amnesia that the light instantly heals. Within this light, the concept of separation dissolves. Experiencers describe feeling connected to all existence while maintaining their unique perspective. It's a paradox that defies logical explanation, being simultaneously individual and universal, finite and infinite, a drop of water and the entire ocean. This paradoxical state suggests consciousness operates by principles that transcend our ordinary understanding of identity and separation. Time behaves strangely within the light. Many report experiencing vast amounts of information, entire lifetimes, of understanding, in what earthly clocks would measure as mere moments. Some describe reliving their entire life in exquisite detail while simultaneously experiencing timelessness. Linear time seems to collapse into an eternal present, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. The light often reveals connections between souls that were invisible during earthly life. People describe suddenly understanding how their actions affected others, seeing the ripple effects of kindness and cruelty across time and space. This interconnectedness isn't presented as abstract philosophy, but as lived experience. Within the light, the illusion of separation dissolves, revealing the fundamental unity underlying all existence. Some experiencers encounter what they describe as beings of light within the greater illumination. These beings are sometimes recognized as deceased loved ones, spiritual guides, or religious figures. Yet even these individual manifestations seem to be part of the greater light, like waves arising from an ocean of radiance. The boundaries between self, other, and the light itself become fluid and permeable. The knowledge gained within the light often includes understanding about life purpose and soul evolution. Many return with clear insights about why they chose their particular life circumstances. Understanding challenges as opportunities for growth rather than random suffering. This perspective transforms how they approach their remaining earthly time, infusing ordinary life with deeper meaning and purpose. Interestingly, the light seems to communicate through direct transmission rather than language. Complex understandings are conveyed instantaneously, bypassing the need for words or symbols. This form of communication suggests a more fundamental way of knowing, perhaps reflecting how consciousness interacts when freed from physical limitations. Many struggle to translate these wordless understandings into human language upon return. The emotional impact of encountering this light cannot be overstated. People describe feeling loved beyond anything they've experienced on Earth, accepted, completely despite their perceived flaws and failures. This unconditional love often becomes the most transformative aspect of the experience. Many return unable to judge others harshly, having experienced absolute acceptance themselves. Some researchers propose that this light might represent consciousness in its pure form, unfiltered by the brain's reducing valve. Just as a prism breaks white light into colors, perhaps our brains fragment unified consciousness into the separate experiences of individual existence. The near-death experience might temporarily remove this filtering mechanism, allowing direct perception of consciousness in its undivided state. The light doesn't seem bound by the physical laws that govern ordinary light. It can be simultaneously brilliant and gentle, all-encompassing yet intimate, revealing yet protective. Some describe it as more real than physical light, as if earthly illumination is merely a pale reflection of this primary radiance. This suggests the light might operate in dimensions beyond our ordinary space-time reality. Children's encounters with the light often lack the fear or resistance adults sometimes initially experience. They seem to recognize it naturally, as if remembering something briefly forgotten. Their descriptions, while simpler in vocabulary, often capture essential truths that adult accounts struggle to articulate. Perhaps proximity to birth keeps children closer to their spiritual origins, allowing easier recognition of this fundamental light. The decision to return from the light often involves profound inner conflict. The peace, love, and understanding experienced within the light make earthly existence seem limited and difficult by comparison. Yet many choose to return, usually for love of others or recognition of unfinished purpose. The light honors these choices, suggesting that earthly life, despite its challenges, serves important functions in consciousness evolution. Some spiritual traditions teach that we can access aspects of this light through deep meditation or contemplative practice. Advanced meditators sometimes report luminous experiences that share qualities with near-death encounters. This suggests the light might not be exclusive to death, but rather represents a state of consciousness potentially accessible to the living. Under certain conditions, the light seems to exist beyond religious and cultural categories, while honoring all genuine spiritual paths. Christians might experience it as divine light, Buddhists as clear luminosity, Muslims as the light of Allah. Yet the light itself transcends these interpretations, suggesting a universal spiritual reality that underlies all traditions. This inclusivity challenges exclusivist religious claims while validating the essential truth within all authentic spiritual paths. Quantum physicists speak of light's dual nature as both particle and wave, and consciousness researchers wonder if awareness might share similar properties. Could the light experienced in near-death states represent consciousness revealing its wave-like unified nature while maintaining the possibility of particle-like individual experience? The parallels between quantum physics and mystical experience grow increasingly intriguing. The barrier between life and death seems more permeable within the light. Many experiences describe choice points where they can continue into the light or return to physical existence. This choice often involves seeing the consequences of both decisions, understanding how their return might serve others or fulfill purposes not yet complete. The light presents these choices without coercion, honoring free will absolutely. The transformative effects of encountering this light extend far beyond the individual. Those who return often become healing presences in their communities. They lose fear of death and help others face mortality with greater peace. Many enter helping professions or dedicate themselves to service. It's as if the light, once experienced, continues to work through them, spreading its influence into the world. Scientists studying these experiences note consistent patterns in brain activity during near-death states. Some suggest the dying brain releases specific chemicals that create these experiences. Yet this reductionist explanation fails to account for veridical perceptions when experiencers accurately describe events occurring outside their physical perception. The light seems to grant access to information that transcends ordinary sensory limitations. The relationship between darkness and light in these experiences proves significant. Some must pass through darkness before encountering the light. Others describe the light emerging from within darkness, as if darkness serves as the womb from which light is born. This interplay suggests that what we perceive as opposites might be complementary aspects of a greater whole. Those who've encountered the light often describe reality as multi-layered. Physical existence represents just one frequency of a broader spectrum of consciousness. The light reveals these other dimensions not as abstract concepts, but as lived realities more vivid than ordinary perception. This multidimensional awareness challenges our assumption that physical reality represents the sum total of existence. The light seems to possess infinite depth. No matter how far consciousness travels into it, there's always more to discover. Some describe moving through layers of ever-increasing love and understanding. Others speak of approaching the source of the light, but never quite reaching it, as if the center recedes infinitely, while paradoxically remaining intimately present. Memory functions differently within the light. Some experiencers describe accessing not just their personal memories, but collective memories of humanity, or even cosmic history. Information seems stored holographically, with each part containing the whole. This suggests consciousness might operate as a unified field, where individual memories are local expressions of universal memory. The light often reveals the illusory nature of many earthly concerns. Wealth, status, and power appear insignificant compared to love, compassion, and spiritual growth. This perspective shift proves lasting. Many who return simplify their lives, focusing on relationships and service rather than material accumulation. The light seems to restore proper perspective on what truly matters. Healing often occurs within the light. Some return from near death, experiences with spontaneous remissions of disease or accelerated recovery from injuries. While medical science struggles to explain these healings, they suggest the light might represent a state of wholeness that can restore physical harmony. Perhaps perfect health is our natural state, temporarily obscured by earthly conditions. The boundary between self and light often blurs completely. Many describe becoming the light rather than merely observing it. This union suggests that the light might represent our essential nature rather than something external. Perhaps we are always this light, but earthly consciousness creates the illusion of separation from our true luminous nature. Children who remember pre-birth experiences sometimes describe choosing to come from the light into physical existence. They speak of planning their lives, selecting parents, and accepting specific challenges for soul growth. These accounts suggest the light might be both our origin and destination. The alpha and omega of consciousness journeys through form. The light appears to exist beyond judgment, while maintaining perfect justice. Actions are seen in their true context, with full understanding of motivations and circumstances. What might appear as wrongdoing from limited perspective reveals itself as part of larger patterns of learning and growth. This non-judgmental assessment often proves more transformative than any punishment could be. Some experiencers describe the light as conscious geometry, patterns of living intelligence that communicate through form and vibration. Sacred geometry traditions might reflect attempts to capture these patterns in physical symbols. The flower of life, the tree of life, mandalas might be human efforts to represent the organizational principles glimpsed within the light. The question arises whether we must die to experience this light fully. Many spiritual traditions suggest not. Through meditation, prayer, service, or sacred medicines, humans have sought glimpses of this primary radiance throughout history. Perhaps the near-death experience simply removes obstacles that normally prevent perception of ever-present light. Quantum entanglement suggests particles can remain connected across vast distances, instantaneously sharing information. The light experiences hint at similar principles operating in consciousness. Within the light, all souls seem entangled, sharing essential unity while maintaining unique perspectives. This quantum model of consciousness might bridge science and spirituality. As we approach the deeper mysteries of this light, language itself begins to fail. How can human words capture infinite love, boundless consciousness, or the paradox of being simultaneously everything and uniquely oneself? Perhaps this is why the light often communicates through direct knowing rather than symbols. Truth at this level transcends conceptual understanding. The return journey from the light often proves as profound as the approach to it. Many describe resistance to leaving this state of perfect love and understanding. Yet something calls them back, unfinished purposes, loved ones who need them, or simply the recognition that their earthly journey isn't complete. The light never forces this return, but honors whatever choice the soul makes with infinite compassion. Those who choose to return often receive what they describe as a commission or life purpose. Some understand they're meant to share what they've learned, to help others lose their fear of death. Others receive specific insights about healing work they're meant to do or creative projects that will serve humanity. The light seems to activate potentials that may have laid dormant before the experience. Back in physical reality, many experiencers struggle with what researchers call re-entry trauma. Having tasted infinite love and understanding, ordinary, human relationships can feel painfully limited. Having experienced unity consciousness, the illusion of separation can be almost unbearable. Many go through periods of depression or isolation as they integrate their experience and learn to bridge two radically different realities. Yet with time, many discover that the light hasn't abandoned them. Through meditation, prayer, or simply quiet reflection, they can access echoes of that original experience. Some describe feeling the light's presence guiding them through difficult decisions or challenges. It's as if once the connection is established, it remains available, though perhaps in subtler form than the original encounter. The light continues to work through these individuals in remarkable ways. Many develop healing abilities, intuitive gifts, or creative capacities they didn't possess before. Some become powerful catalysts for transformation in others, not through preaching but through their very presence. They seem to carry some essence of the light within them that affects everyone they encounter. Family members often notice these changes immediately. Spouses describe their partners as more loving, patient, and present. Children sense a new depth of understanding in their parents. Even casual acquaintances often feel something different about these individuals, a quality of peace, acceptance, or inner joy that wasn't there before the experience. The fear of death, once so powerful, typically dissolves completely, not through denial or philosophical reasoning, but through direct experience of consciousness continuing beyond physical dissolution. This fearlessness extends to many areas of life. Having faced the ultimate threshold and discovered love waiting there, what earthly fear can compare? Many report living with greater courage, authenticity, and willingness to take meaningful risks. Yet, this fearlessness isn't recklessness. The light seems to impart a deep respect for life, both one's own and others. Many experiencers become more careful with their health, not from fear of death, but from recognition that their physical existence serves a purpose. They understand their bodies as temporary vehicles for consciousness, deserving care and respect. For the journey they enable, the light experience often reveals the interconnectedness of all souls. Many return with enhanced empathy, sometimes to the point of literally feeling others' emotions or physical sensations. This can be challenging in a world full of suffering, yet it also enables profound service. These individuals often know intuitively what others need and how to help them heal. Time perception remains altered long after the experience. Many report an enhanced ability to live in the present moment, free from excessive worry about future or regret about past. Having experienced timelessness within the light, linear time loses some of its tyranny. This presence makes them particularly effective in crisis situations, able to remain calm and centered when others panic. Relationships deepen significantly after these experiences. Surface interactions lose their appeal. Souls hunger for authentic connection. Many experiencers find themselves naturally attracting others who've had similar experiences or who are seeking deeper meaning. Communities often form around these individuals, not through recruitment, but through natural resonance. Creative expression frequently follows these encounters with the light. Some who never considered themselves artistic suddenly feel compelled to paint, write, or compose music. They describe attempting to capture something of what they experienced, knowing it's impossible, yet feeling driven to try. Their works often carry a particular quality that touches others deeply, as if some essence of the light gets transmitted through their creative acts. The light seems to awaken a service orientation in most who encounter it. Having experienced unconditional love, they feel called to express it in the world. This might manifest as formal service through healing professions, ministry, or counseling. For others, it's simply a way of being, offering kindness to strangers, listening deeply to others' pain, being a peaceful presence in chaotic situations. Questions about the nature of reality naturally arise after these experiences. If consciousness can exist in realms of pure light, what does this say about physical reality? Many experiencers develop a more fluid understanding of existence, seeing the material world as one frequency in a broader spectrum of being. This doesn't lead to world denial, but to appreciation of physical existence as a unique opportunity for growth and service. The light experience often catalyzes spiritual development that might otherwise take decades. One encounter can transform a lifetime of beliefs, dissolve years of fear, or heal wounds that seemed permanent. It's as if the light accelerates evolution of consciousness, accomplishing in moments what might require years of dedicated spiritual practice. Some experiencers describe ongoing communication with the light or beings encountered there. This might come through intuition, dreams, or sudden knowings. They learn to trust these communications, finding them consistently helpful and loving. It's as if once the channel opens, it remains available for guidance when truly needed. The question of why some people have these experiences while others don't continues to puzzle researchers. Perhaps everyone encounters this light at death, but only some remember it upon resuscitation. Maybe certain individuals are meant to return with these memories to serve as bridges between worlds. Or possibly we each receive exactly what our soul's evolution requires at any given moment. What becomes clear from countless accounts is that this light represents something fundamental about existence itself. Whether we call it God, consciousness, love, or simply light, it points to a reality far more vast and beautiful than our ordinary awareness perceives. Those who encounter it return as witnesses to this greater reality, living reminders that death may be not an ending, but a returning home to the light we've always been. For those who've not yet had this experience, these accounts offer profound hope. They suggest that at the heart of existence lies not darkness or emptiness, but radiant love. They propose that consciousness doesn't end with physical death, but continues into realms of increasing light and understanding. Most importantly, they remind us that this light isn't somewhere else or someone else. It's here, now, within and around us, waiting to be recognized. The invitation is clear. We needn't wait for death to begin exploring our true nature as beings of light. Through meditation, service, love, and conscious presence, we can begin to recognize and embody the light we already are. Each moment offers the opportunity to choose love over fear, unity over separation, light over darkness. In making these choices, we participate in the same transformation that near-death experiences reveal. The journey from limited physical identity to recognition of our infinite, luminous essence.